Professor Linda J. Holland-Toll, Language and Literature Professor at Mount Olive College, is going to talk a little bit about the knowledge gap between high school students and college freshmen. So, what are you finding that college freshmen should know that they don't know?
College freshmen have no idea how to do research that does not involve going to Google and taking the first couple of websites they find. They have no idea how to evaluate a source. For example, 3 of my students used heliumblog.com. When I went in to check heliumblog.com, 2 of the authors were fine. One had taught high school for 20 years, one had a master's degree in English. The 3rd source was a high school sophomore. And the students had no idea that one had more authority or credibility than the other. They use Wiki, they use Ask Me, they use lousystudentpapers.com. They will unhesitatingly quote a free essay they found online. They do not understand the idea of books or actual print. They have a terrible, terrible time with citation, and they really do not understand what you need to cite when. It's sort of well, I'll throw a cite in here and maybe that will be right. And that's probably 60 to 80% of my students. 20% did get it in high school, and they do know how to do it. And they actually have an idea of how to evaluate a source, what a refereed journal is. They will actually go to the library and use the technology. But many of my students, the best way to say it is they're absolutely clueless. Mm-hmm. Nor do they understand why it's important. They just think of citation as some nasty thing the professor makes them do, and if they have a period in the wrong place, they'll get busted for it. They don't seem to understand the idea that you're using someone else's intellectual property.
You mentioned some of the students that do get it, that do understand research and citation and intellectual property, go to the library and use the technology available. Specifically, in what ways do you feel the library, either public or academic or school library, can help teach students and instruct students in the things they need to know?
Our librarians at Mount Olive College are absolutely great. They do workshops, which no one attends. They have a whole bunch of website pages that have MLA, APA, how to evaluate websites. Any student at Mount Olive can go on to the library, look at the web pages. They come to the classes and discuss. They keep adding databases. They help students one-on-one. If students are not going to a library to get help or to get assistance, I mean, they will actually ask you for your research topic, and they will spend hours showing you exactly where to find everything. If students are not taking advantage of the services, it's certainly not for a lack of them. And I would say the Goldsboro Public Library is very much the same way. If you are not getting help there, it's because you are not going to ask for it.
Do you think maybe some of the students don't go to the library for assistance because they feel they may not really know what the library offers? Perhaps?
Partially, they may not know what the library offers, since many of the, especially the ones that do not know how to cite, don't read and don't go to the library. But I think it's more the easy availability of technology. Which would you rather do? Sit in a cafe and type Google, go to Google, type whatever you want, yank the first 3 things you see, or actually go to a library and spend some quality time researching? Students tend to take the easy way out, and the amount of technology available it's sort of antinomous. In one way, it's absolutely great. In another way, it makes teaching the importance of citation very difficult.
What are some of the things you think the library, specifically a public library, could do to get students into the doors so they do know what is offered, to encourage them to use the librarian's skills and the library resources to help with their research?
Well, I'm thinking that, odd though it sounds, it may need to start earlier than high school. Maybe even having 3rd and 4th graders do library tours, have readings, have librarians, if possible, go to classrooms, but all of that takes a lot of research and a lot of resources and a lot of time. But I am more and more convinced that if you wait until high school to introduce someone to the idea of a public library, it's years too late. More computers, more librarians, more of a presence. But it goes back also to the parents. If the parents don't read, if the parents don't have a library card, if the parents don't make a point of saying, let's go to the library, it's Saturday, let's get our books, let's have reading at home, then the kid's not going to get that very important link between libraries, reading, literacy, critical thinking, etc.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Mr. Robbins.